Good morning, Rapids Nation. It is draft day, and I am here at the ENP Seneschal Center for the first round, or waiting the first round, rather, and a lot of really great surprises that are going to be happening today, including something that is under this sheet, which you're going to see in just a little bit. We are going to have all of the action, but first, I want to talk about a couple of moves that the Rapids have made, and for Mathieu Martin, the GM, and for our entire staff, it has not been a quiet summer at all. It has been a pretty eventful one. There have been some really big trades that have happened. There was a signing, and of course, with the draft coming up today, we are going to have content all day long for the channel, so stay tuned each hour for the videos being uploaded. We're going to do everything on site here. We're going to have interviews with the new players. Captain Jonah Laird is going to join us, and we're going to have a lot more surprises still to come on the show today. So first off, I want to start to talk about these trades. Now, we talked about how the Rapids, they have their core intact for this season coming up. And they've added to that core. The first trade came on June 1st, right? Beginning of the month. Just a couple of days before the trade freeze happened with the draft, obviously. And this one was a big one. So remember how I was saying that future considerations, most of the time they're going to turn out to just be magic beans. And, it's not going to be probably anything in most cases. Well, in this case, the Rapids made two trades. Remember those future considerations that I was talking about in the deadline, how they turned out to be mostly nothing? The first trade was with the Campbellton Tigers via the Edmonton Blizzard, or the Edmonton Blizzard via the Campbellton Tigers, and that was Alexis Jacques coming to Grand Falls in exchange for those future considerations. Now, what is so special about that? Alexis Jacques, he's a 6'1" defenseman, 193 pounds, and if you remember correctly, every time Campbellton or Edmonton played Grand Falls last year, he made the forwards' lives a living hell. He's a very solid defenseman, plays a great two-way game, very offensive, very defensive. You can play him on the penalty kill, and he's a guy that you can also play on the power play as well. So he's a very good special teams guy, but more than anything, he's a very incredibly solid shutdown defender. So that was part one. I believe that was in the Paul Slivka trade, either that or if it was in the Raphael Denis, Jeremy Dastu trade to Edmonton. It was one of those two. I'm not exactly sure which one. But that was, again, another big reason why future considerations don't always turn out to be nothing. They don't always turn out to be magic beans. Now, the second one, I think, is going to be a big, huge addition for the Grand Falls Rapids. And this is someone that I was excited about. This is somebody who, he was a thorn in our side all year last season. And again, with those future considerations, this time the trade was with the West Kent Steamers, and they acquired, in exchange for future considerations, as part of an earlier trade that was completed in the Spencer Canes deal, the Grand Falls Rapids acquire forward Damon Engelhut. Now, you know that name because he scored a lot against the Rapids last year, had 64 points at the end of the season, or by the end of the season, I should say. And, wow, where do I even start with this guy? You need a solid playmaker, right? You've got Jonah Laird, who's the goal scorer. You have a lot of guys who are coming in to training camp that were prospects last year. You have a good, solid core around him. And now this is a good opportunity for the Rapids. They brought in now a playmaker that can feed him and that can produce those top power play points and minutes. So I think that's going to be a huge, huge addition. So Damon Engelhut is a guy I don't think that anybody gets nearly enough excited about. I know that I was just trying not to freak out the first time that I heard that news, but I'm very, very, very excited for that. The third trade, and keep in mind there were 4 trades that the Rapids made so far, and a couple of signings. So the next trade would be with the Yarmouth Mariners. The Rapids send the rights to Liam Dutcher, a first-round pick in 2026, and a fifth-round pick in 2026. That is a lot to give up, but you'll hear what we're going to get back in just a second. In exchange for the 4th overall pick this year, Julien Avignon-Bourque and Nicholas Mikryakov. Keep in mind, the Rapids, in earlier trades this season, they traded away their first-round pick, which would have been the 3rd overall pick, to the Valley Wildcats, and they ended up getting a 4th overall pick back. So it's not honestly not even really too bad. They only moved down to one spot, and there were a couple of really solid prospects available. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen here. But it's Avignon Bourque and Makryakov that are the big pieces of this deal. You're trading away Liam Dutcher, yes. You're trading away a first-round pick, yes. But keep in mind, you got two defensemen who are 6'3" and 6'4". Now, if you remember last year, the Rapids were kind of lacking size a little bit, and it was a really, really big problem on the back end. With these two guys, Makryakov last year was a very physical force and is a guy who uses his size to his advantage. I think this is going to be a huge addition for the Rapids. If it's not on the first pairing, it'll be in the second pairing for sure. I would not see him playing third pairing minutes. He's a guy who, like I said, is very physical, will go out there, lay the body as much as he can, and at the same time, he's also not afraid to get up in the rush and make those plays as well. So it's going to be very exciting to see him there. Now, Avignon Bourque, same premise. He's a very solid defenseman, 6'3", 210 pounds, and a guy, again, that brings a lot of grit and depth to the blue line. But he's also a good two-way guy as well. You look at his stat line, and I'll tell you here. You look at his stat line last year, and it wasn't very impressive offensively. He had 7 points through the season last year, 1 goal and 6 assists, all coming with the Pictou County Weeks Crushers. But again, these are guys where they're not necessarily offensive defensemen. Like, I don't think that's the be-all and end-all of the team. They're very good, solid shutdown guys, and that's exactly what you need. The next one, well, you make a little bit of room for some defensemen coming in, but at the same time, you also have to ship some defensemen out. Now, this one was, it was, not as fun when you have to get rid of a guy. And the next trade, it was a good trade, but again, one that it kind of sucks losing him, and that was Raphael Michaud going to the Valley Wildcats for the rights to Angus Proctor. So it was Raphael Michaud, a 4th-round pick in 2026 and a 7th-round pick in 2026 for the rights to Angus Proctor. Now, if you are a fan of the QMJHL, you know this name very, very well. He's a kid from Halifax, plays for the Halifax McDonald's U18 team, and he is just a dynamic forward. So when I say dynamic, I mean he is a good goal scorer. He's a good playmaker. He's a guy who isn't afraid to lay the body. And he's a solid, I would describe him more or less as like a power forward sort of type. Think Zach Hyman, but just in a little bit bigger frame. And he's also just a little bit more of a playmaker than a goal scorer. But he is still a very, very solid player. 37 points in 39 games for the Halifax McDonald's U18 team. Like I said, man, you gave up a guy who is going to get a lot more minutes in Valley, who is going to be playing for a very solid, and the future is very bright for the Valley Wildcats. I'm very excited to see how this is going to go for them coming up in the future. Now, with that said, you got rid of a couple of picks which you can afford to get rid of. It's not anything. It's not like you were going to be missing those 4th and 7th round picks, and you got a guy who could potentially come in and be a top 9 forward on an already very stacked Rapids core. I'm excited to see what he can do in training camp and potentially what he can do for this Rapids team. Now, keep in mind, it is the early stages of the summer, and it is draft day, so there could be more trades that happen. However, there is so much to do. We got a big announcement coming up at 9 o'clock, which is going to be just in a few moments here. And there's going to be a lot more really special and fun surprises today throughout the course of draft day. So like I said, stay tuned to the channel. There's going to be videos uploaded every hour. We're going to have some exclusive interviews with the captain, Jonah Laird, with a bunch of the Rapids players and staff, as well as their draft picks. And this is going to be a very, very fun day. So don't forget to stick around on the channel, and we are going to have lots of content for you, so you'll never have to miss a second. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification for all future content, and make sure that you are tuned in on this beautiful draft day.